Kosher Wine Podcast with Dr. Kenny Friedman and Rabbi Yisroel Bernath.
Hello, Kenny.
Hey there, Yisroel. How are you? What a special occasion to have our first repeat guest, the illustrious, world-famous. I have a whole list here, but I'm going to keep it short. Very excited to have Gabe Geller back. Gabe, welcome.
Well, guys, it's an honor to be the first repeat guest. I didn't realize that. Wow.
We're not even hard up for guests. We have a lot of people who actually want to get in here. But Yisroel probably does also, but I speak to Gabe every single day. And what else do I have to do? Erev Pesach, and there's cleaning, ton of food. By the way, because I'm cooking, this is at Baltimore.
Yeah, wow.
I'm cooking for people also in Baltimore. But what better to do than a Kosher Wine Podcast? The masses demand it.
Absolutely.
That's right. And by the way, I'm doing tonight at 10:30 p.m. live. People think, oh, whatever. It's a podcast. It's a live. It's live at 10:30 p.m. Instead of sleeping or relaxing, something like that. I'll be doing an Instagram live with Naomi Nachman. And the reason I'm mentioning it is because of you, Kenny. The way that you're the chef and the Pesach chef in this particular case, for a lot of lucky people in Baltimore.
Wow.
That's how Naomi Nachman got started, being a chef in the Five Towns.
She has a better accent.
For Pesach, for people.
She has a better accent, and she lives in the Five Towns. I'm missing
That's
those
right.
two key ingredients.
And I've had
awesome.
I've had Naomi's food, but I'm happy that I was zoche to have your food.
Thank you. Where do we find that as loyal subscribers to everything Geller does? Where do we find that podcast?
It will be tonight on Naomi Nachman's Instagram.
Oh, on our Instagram. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Well,
if you have nothing else to do tonight,
I guess we're lucky to get you first. I know you're also busy. We're all busy. Erev Pesach. We're not going to get into usually the Rabbi and I do a lot of, and we've both been very busy, but we're diving in. We're going to dive in. And I think the pertinent topic, and Rabbi, correct me if I'm wrong, the pertinent topic is Pesach. It is a wine lover's delight. It's where we all come out to shine, I know.
Absolutely. It's our moment.
Yes. So, and the biggest question I get as this season comes up, and I'm sure you both do also, I know you both do, is what are you drinking, not only for the 4 cups, but Pesach in general. So I'd like to discuss, number one, that very direct question of what are you going to drink for your 4 cups? I think I know both your answers anyway already, just knowing you both so well. But also, what's new on the market? What are people excited about? So
Sure.
why don't we discuss that first? 4 cups. What direction do you take? Let's start with you, Gabe.
Okay. So I mention it every year in different capacities, and I've certainly told you so pretty much every year, I guess, Kenny. I do my usual thing that the first night, the first Seder, I do only Israeli wines. The second Seder, I do only non-Israeli wines that are the Galus, with wines from the Galus. Right, and I do for the 4 cups, which is something that I know you don't do that at all, Kenny. You're kind of against it, so to speak. At least the philosophy that's behind it. I do for the 4 cups. I do only rosé, and nowadays it's more or less the only time of the year that I drink rosé. I used to be much bigger into it a number of years ago. And for Shulchan Aruch, for the meal itself, I open special aged red, something special, and still an Israeli wine the first night, and a non-Israeli wine the second night. And I'd like to add that I love that you mentioned that, Kenny. People always ask, "What's 4 cups? What's 4 cups?" Pesach, besides the 2 Sedarim, has a lot of other meals. And I'm not even talking just about Yom Tov or Shabbos Chol Hamoed. I'm talking about Chol Hamoed, we make a big deal out of it of Chol Hamoed and having guests in the sukkah on sukkahs, right? And not having great wines. Well, there's Chol on Pesach too. Why don't you, have the feast and it's Chag, and Simcha and the Son of the Yain.
And there is a tradition.
We love wine and we're not vegan.
Exactly. There is a tradition of having a glass of wine on Chol Hamoed every day. Like the people have it's a very important tradition.
Yeah, just as much as a lot of people, wear Yom Tov clothing on Chol Hamoed too. And among other, minhagim.
Well, it's a great point. I never really thought about it that way. You really treat sukkahs very much that way. I mean, there's obviously something a little bit different going on there, but still, it's still Yontif.
Yeah,
it should still be treated appropriately, which is why I don't get the drinking garbage wines for the Abracosos. But whatever, you do you. You did
exactly. So first of all, let me stop you. Well, I understand that there is people who drink their cheap wines. There's that guy. We spoke about it last time. How the winos thing. With the kosher words started back in the days. The forum from Daniel Rogoff. There was a prominent guy on that forum who actually also drinks non-kosher wine. And because of that, he has a lot of experience, and he drinks good wine. But Dafka for the Sedarim, he has that tradition that he has maintained of drinking, one of those kiddush wines, syrupy wines that that his family had, when he was growing up, and he has maintained that. So we have someone who is incredibly experienced and also knowledgeable about wine in general, who on purpose, chooses the wines that honestly none of us here, would ever touch. And not only does he drink one glass, he drinks 4, and 2 nights in a row. Well, actually, he made I think it's one night now.
I think it's important to mention that if you have a family tradition, you have to keep to it. Most important part of Pesach is a family tradition. That said, I made a joke on my Instagram this week, and I said that there's people that have a tradition of not having matzah from Rosh Chodesh Nisan until Pesach,
right.
or not having it for a month before Pesach.
Right.
And since I love wine so much, I decided that I was going to have a tradition to savor the taste of the wine, to not have good wine from Rosh Chodesh leading up to Pesach. It lasted an entire day.
I could come up with a lot of analogies on that idea, and I'm not going to. But yeah, I mean, come on.
Well, it was interesting that you said no good wine.
Yeah.
But that only lasted a day. Gabe, question for you.
And by the way, my rosé are not garbage wines, Kenny.
See, now,
I use the best rosé.
I mean, I would say buyer beware on most rosé out there on the market. But that said, that's my question for you is, I mean, I don't drink a lot of rosé. If I do, it's more summertime. What rosés are you recommending that are 25s that are on that? Because of course, and I'll let you explain why you're looking for 2025s, but what have you found so far that you plan to drink?
Okay. So,
they don't all have to be royal, by the way.
There's a challenge this year, is that there's very few of those 2025 rosé that have been released. Right. And I would say that, thank God, those that have been released are some of the better ones anyway. So at least, I'm covered. I was actually worried up until about 2-3 weeks ago. I was like, I might have to change my plan because right. I don't have anything. The thing is that it doesn't only have to be 2025. It has to be, for me, that's my tradition, not nevushal for the forecast. So I had those 2 requirements. The non-nevushal, maybe, I mean, if you want to talk about it, and maybe Rabbi Yisroel have more of an insight into that. But as far as 2025 for rosé, meaning the most recent vintage, recent harvest, is because generally speaking, the vast majority of rosé out there, using the word kosher or not, are meant to be drunk, as young as possible. That is not to say that exceptions, do not exist. They do exist. And I actually used one of those exceptions last year. I had the Raziel Rosé 2023 instead of 2024 because it was, in my opinion, the best non-negotiable Israeli rosé, and it's a rosé that, yes, it is expensive for a reason. It's much more complex and it is made to last. I don't know exactly how long that specific rosé can go for. I guess it's probably around 3-4 years, which is three times as long as most rosé. And that was the reason that I went for it. So this year I'm going with the Matar Rosé 2025, which is consistently, pretty much year in, year out, one of the best rosé out of Israel. It's very much Provence style. It's a blend of Grenache Noir and Finoise. It's also pretty moderate alcohol. It's 11.5% alcohol. Very bright, refreshing, light. Goes down easily. The reason, by the way, why do I drink rosé for the 4 cups, is that I hold by the opinion that you have to drink the 4 cups rather quickly, and drinking big red, especially a special aged something that you put away for years. Those wines are meant to be sipped and savored. And if I'm not going to sip and savor my wine by those religious requirements I go by, I should go with something that I can drink quickly and that will still be enjoyable. And that is why I go with those light, fruity, refreshing rosé wines, because even I drink it quickly, it's fine. It's still very tasty, very enjoyable. And I think that will not do the wine a favor, certainly not myself, if I drank like a Chateau Malartic 2005 in this particular fashion.
So you said the Matar, that all makes sense. It's not what I do, but
Okay.
but you're the VIP guest here, so I'll let you have your moment in the light. When you were saying the Raziel, I thought, what I was thinking. Take a guess what I was thinking. Either of you.
The bubbly.
Bubbly.
The
Yeah.
bubbly. That
And
bubbly is fantastic.
Honestly, they are my favorite kosher bubbly. That includes champagne. They do an incredible job with those wines, and in Brazil in general, but the sparkling wine in particular. I actually did try bubbly for the 4 cups, for at least one of the 4 cups, a number of years ago. I believe it was the Yarden Rosé, if I'm not mistaken. I think, probably like 9 years ago, something like that. And I found it that drinking it quickly, like that, the bubbles were like a little bit overwhelming. Like
right.
The effervescence was a little bit too aggressive to drink it in this manner. And I find, I don't know if there's a scientific explanation to it. I didn't dig in really, but I find that even though those sparkling wines usually have 12% alcohol on average, I find that the effervescence brings the alcohol up. Like you actually get intoxicated quicker than with still wine. So those 2 factors I found to be a disadvantage, the downside, and that's why I'd rather not use bubbly. But I did consider it this year. I was like, when a few weeks ago I was like, there's no 2025 rosé out there. And but there is the Raziel Rosé that is fantastic, and there is the Yarden Rosé 2019 that I had at KWD that is amazing as well.
Have you tasted that?
Yeah, So yes, I had it. I actually did have bubbly. No, I had it for at least one of the World Cups last year, the second night, the Bernath, Buddy, Buddy Picciolo. That's the name of the wine, right? The Italian wine, the Italian bubbly. Buddy Picciolo.
I can't. I didn't even miss the question.
Can you move
The-
closer?
Oh, yeah,
Because we can't hear
Valpiccio.
you well. Yeah.
Valpiccio. I'm having a look.
The Perinetto is the
Valpicciolo.
terroir, Champagne Nitro Rosé from Italy, from Valpicciolo. And I did have it last year, at least for one of the cups of the second seller, actually. And I had it without tasting it beforehand. And I happened to have a flat ball. An off ball
Really?
tastes good.
Told me that.
And that was exactly. That was disappointing. I was upset, and I thought that the wine was bad and I was wrong. I retasted it, I think, a week later from a different bottle. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Yeah.
It is. I think the to answer my own question, why I wouldn't. I agree with you, and I think especially the champagne method wines they're heavy for that purpose. It's. I wish there were kind of maybe more rosé prosecco, something like that. That would be a little lighter, a little easier to drink in that fashion. For this part, just for that would be great.
I hear that. Well, maybe I don't know. For those who really want to have, oops, I'm sorry. For those who want to,
I was just going to ask you about that.
Yes.
I was going to ask you about it. I just had it on Shabbos.
I'm just gonna pause it.
I liked it very much. I'm curious on your.
I thought it was pleasant. I was pleasantly surprised.
Well, I heard a good report on it, so I wasn't, I guess, as surprised as I would, but I picked it up just to taste it.
Yeah,
and I liked it very much.
Kenny, have you met a
hold on
bubbly
a
that you
second.
didn't like?
Of course, yes, of course. I would say I'm more forgiving. I'm more forgiving on bubblies than I am on other wines. I'll put it that way. Gabe's on a call, so we're gonna fill the. This is where like the music comes on. Right?
Exactly.
I'm certainly more forgiving on bubblies, and I think, and I don't even know why that is. I think like a lot of times, something I started doing sometimes, I leave it a little left and I let it get flat, and I taste the wine on its own, and like it's a bit. I'm curious to hear what Gabe says about that. And sometimes, I mean, you forget that bubbly is just wine that it has the bubbles in it, but I'm saying like the wine on its own has to be good. So it's not. There's certainly plenty of flawed bubblies. I think I'm more forgiving, and I think it's kind of like how they spackle your ceiling when there's like, and they use this like what's called like a popcorn thing because it covers flaws. I always think about sometimes maybe I'm more forgiving on bubbly because sometimes the bubbles to some degree cover the flaw of the underlying wine, or at least make it more palatable. I've thought about that a lot. I don't know if that's true, but I think I am more forgiving with bubblies. But what did I just want to ask? Oh, Gabe, are you back now?
Yeah,
we should have taken a commercial break.
exactly.
I sometimes have left, some bubbly left. It's interesting. Bubbly holds longer than people think it does in the fridge.
True.
It holds a couple days easily, and it maintains a lot of its fermentation.
How do you keep it, by the way?
Sorry,
Kenny, how do you keep your bubbly in the fridge after oven?
What do you mean? How do I keep it?
Like
what kind of enclosure do I use?
Yeah, exactly. How do you
I have a good, Armando from which winery is he from, Armando? I'm totally blanking. Armando, the Spanish winery.
Memorias
Vina Memorias. He gave me an enclosure that I find is the best for it. And it has kind of a metallic clasp around
exactly.
So that one I feel safe with, also not exploding, because obviously it's still undergoing. There's still bubbles in it. It's still gonna push.
I use a very primitive way, but it works. I just take, a piece of, saran wrap, on top of the opening, and then I put the rubber band. Works.
That's actually a great idea.
Yep.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Actually, it makes a lot of sense. Because even if you put even like a regular wine cork in the bottle, even while you're
It's gonna
sitting
pop.
people, it'll blow off all the
Yeah.
time.
It's gonna pop.
That's kind of a fun
Yeah.
mid-Shabbos lunch game.
Yeah.
What I was going to ask you is, do you ever let the wine go flat and then taste it on its own? I mean, obviously, it's not really fair to do it that way because, a wine like that,
Not on purpose.
not on purpose. Well, I wouldn't say I always do it on purpose, but do you ever do that? Do you find that there's anything to gain from that?
No,
Probably not.
not really. But when I do it, and the wine is still like somewhat enjoyable after
Yeah.
it goes flat, I mean, it's something to take note, and I would say is kind of impressive. It doesn't happen very often, I have to say.
Right, right. Well, the same as any other. I mean, a white wine that sits for a long time in general, especially one
Yeah.
that's made in a fresh style, is not going to be as enjoyable.
Yeah.
We really should get some advertisements for those kind of moments, like Gabe going on the phone.
Exactly.
Great. Yeah.
Now, a
Exactly.
word from our sponsor.
Right. See, you have the perfect voice for it too. Okay, so Rabbi, what are your wine choices this year? Or just general category, because I don't have specifically.
So after our conversation last year, like it really inspired me, I have to say. So two things happened after our conversation. Number one is I kind of rethought my Seder picks last year, and now again rethinking them this year. And then I was in a place, undisclosed location last year, where not far from Kenny, and I decided to play Elijah the prophet because I'm never around anyone who has another Seder. I live in an area where there are not, I mean, there are Seders, but not many Seders that I can go and kind of hop around. And so after our Seder, I hopped around at 6 or 7 Seders, and I'm like, just knocked on doors, and I'm like, Eliyahu Hanavi here. And I was just curious to see what they were serving, and I was surprised at what people were serving. So I got a floor-to-floor vertical last year. I got a there was quite a few verticals actually. There was a Homedok, a Baron's vertical. That was interesting.
Yeah, on Rothschild, yeah.
Yeah. And there was also an Israeli vertical as well. It was a Matar CB vertical. And that was so that idea. So I thought that maybe I would try something similar. And I was looking in my cellar to see if I had anything. And I did. I do have a closed Masorah vertical, but I'm not sure if I want to do that for the Seder.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and then I really like Gabe's idea of doing one day Israel and one day the world. I was curious from you actually. Is Israel wine production down between the Miluim and the war? Do you know any numbers coming out of Israel about wine production?
No, not to my knowledge. I at least from discussions that we've had with wineries there, I was not under the impression that it had a significant effect on the production itself, at least in terms of like production numbers, number of cases or bottles produced. I'm sure that there are effects, sales and consumption, but in terms of production itself, I don't think so.
So I decide, yeah, that I decided at the end that what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my first night only boutique Israeli wines, like small production Israeli wines,
Yeah,
and then
makes sense.
and just to, I think that it's an opportunity to support them right now. It's very difficult time right now in Israel, and we're having the Seder. We're saying Lashana Haba B'Yushalayim, and I don't know about you. God willing, we should be in Jerusalem, but right now, as it stands, my physical plans are not going to be there, as many people in the diaspora are having a hard time, according to natural means, getting into Israel right now, and so we feel it in a way that I think we haven't felt in a couple of years. Maybe COVID, there was also that year that we couldn't get there. But this year, really, people cannot go. People who had plans had their plans canceled. And so that's my first night this year is going to be Israeli Boutique. And my second night, I'm going to follow Gabe, and I'm going to just kind of do like kind of all over the place. I'm going to do each one from a different country.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, it's a fun way, to blend into the set our crazy passion about wine and the strong need that we have, at least the three of us, to
There's
try everything and tap into everything. Just like there's that one year, 2019, I went to a Pesach program. It's the only time I went to a Pesach program, and obviously all the people who are like into wine, more or less, schmooze with me all the time. One of them was a fan of Sagot Cabernet Sauvignon, and not just of Sagot Cabernet Sauvignon, and it is the only wine that he drinks every Shabbos, every Yom Tov, every meal. That's it. Nothing else. No, not any other wine from Sagot. Just that wine, and no other wine from no other winery. Only the Sagot Cabernet Sauvignon. Blew my mind.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
very
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my Israeli wine list on Cellar Tracker, and I see because I'm very good at entering them. I'm very bad at pulling them out because
Right.
I feel like they go out faster than they come in, but that's not true. I just am bad at it. Things get lost, whatever. I give things away. And I was just looking at, because I know I don't have this, it's the Jacques Capsuto. And I miss that wine. And I think that would have been such a nice, his wines were so like a more elegant style, and they would have been really nice Seder wines.
Right.
I
I actually recall his rosé. Only the first one, the 2014, which was the first Capsuto wine I ever tasted. Yeah, and I miss the man. I miss the man.
Did you know
he was
him?
a special guy? Yeah, I met him a few times. I even had I even shared a lunch with him in New York City, and we didn't even drink wine at that lunch.
Right.
was at Le Marais, so he brought his wines, but we couldn't taste them because they're not bushel.
Right.
They're very strict about it. But we had a very nice cruise.
Yeah, I miss those wines.
I'm pretty sure I have one left. Maybe I'll pull it out for my international.
Super boutique.
Yeah.
Can't get it anymore. I'm thinking I'll say my at least famous amongst the three of us that I always very much, I did a wine event last week for a Chabad place in Owings Mills, Maryland. And I said this part over, I try not to get into rabbinic stuff, especially since there was a rabbi sitting next to me, just like my podcast. But I said this idea of like not Shulchan Aruch, for Shehech Yanu, that it's such a meaningful bracha to me, and it's such a rare opportunity to say it. Combined with Kiddush, you're making it, meaning you're literally saying it over wine, and you're thanking God for being in that time and place. And at a Pesach Seder, when you are celebrating your cherus and you're sitting with the most important people in the world to you, I'm using a great wine for that. I don't care how fast I have to drink it. I may not maybe take that as seriously as you guys about Shiurim. I don't know. I think I do. I think I drink it fast enough. I don't think it's even as fast as people imagine it to be. You literally don't have to gulp it.
According to most opinions, you have a couple of minutes. You don't have to
right.
a
couple minutes. Right. And besides that, I do believe that if you're drinking, an appropriately aged wine, it's not going to smack you in the face. Like you're not drinking 2023 Napa Cab. Drinking something that has some age on it, it's mellowed a lot, it's softer, and it doesn't matter to me almost, because I think the idea of Shechiano and what you're there for is like I'm not using some wine, some like almost toss away wine. Now I'm saying, and again, that's not a rip on the great Gabe Geller, because as you know, I look up to you in many ways in this world. Especially,
I totally hear that, and that is also why, again, like I said, I do open one of those wines at the meal.
At Shulchan Aruch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any idea what you're using for that yet this year?
I am absolutely. Usually I know 6 months in advance. This time it took me more time. I just decided basically last week. So, like I said, the Matin Rosé first night. The second night will be a mix, actually, two different rosé, the Hedu Rosé and the Capsana Esparte Petita Rosé. And then for Shulchan Aruch, for the meal, first night will be the Vitkin Shorashim 2016. And that's the flagship wine from Vitkin and the first kosher vintage of it. And the second night will be Chateau Valentin 2005.
Which vintage?
The 2005 Valentin.
Wow.
Certainly appropriate.
Wow.
I really like, it's somewhat of I go down there and almost like what strikes me, what happens as the mood strikes me that night. I'll do some thinking about it, but
You're spontaneous.
Yeah, I decided.
My wine madness, I have to plan out what I'm gonna drink and where is the bottle. I have to locate it.
I decided that the first night I'm going to do a Shemitah wine. I have a Tzora Misty Hills in 2015, and I think that's probably really.
That is fantastic. Actually.
It's a great bottle of wine, and I thought that would be my big wine for the first night. And the second night, I also have another 2015. I have a Vendreau.
The Virginie de Vendreau.
Yeah, the Virginie de Vendreau 15, which in my opinion is just like right now.
I have a case of it, and I think I'm still waiting a little bit before I
You think so? You think I
but again, it's me. I'm a big tertiary,
Right.
kind of guy, and when I aged my Bordeaux, I really wanted to get there.
How much time do you think we have?
If how much time you? I think there's a good chance that it is already there or starting, and I believe that it has easily 5 to 10 more years, easily.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right. It bears mentioning. We've discussed this a bunch of times, but everyone talks about aging wine and wine aging and whatever. And I firmly believe the majority of people do not care for tertiary, and they don't understand what they're even looking for in that. And they're disappointed when they sit on a wine too long, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I think
it's okay.
Right. And I think, of course, as we also always mention, the vast majority of wines are not meant for that. But I think, when people taste these wines, a lot of times they don't appreciate it. That's not an enjoyable feature to them, that tertiary.
Exactly. Like I would be like, oh, I have like a beautifully tertiary aged,
Right.
let's say the Valentin 2005, and I would be, happy, like through the moon. And and the other guy sitting next to me is like, what the heck is wrong with this wine?
Right.
It smells like,
Yeah. And there's nothing worse than sitting on a wine for many years, especially an expensive wine, and having it for a special occasion, and then being so terribly disappointed. And I think that's a big reason why. I think people just don't. So those wines that do build that character and funk, if you want to call it that, I think a lot of people just don't want that. There's nothing wrong with liking fresh, like the fresh fruit style in wine. And that's, of course, why those wines sell and why they're more popular. Yeah. Why winemakers shoot for that for the most part.
And most wines are made to drink now. I mean, that's the point.
Yeah. Absolutely. A lot of time people are like, oh, this one is too young. And I'm guilty of it as well. I think that in the past, not too long ago, just a few years ago, I think that I would tell people too frequently, it's too young, it's too early, put it away. I think that for the majority of the wines out there, especially besides big Bordeaux and what we have now, some of those new Barolo and Barbaresco that are coming to the market, that really are not very enjoyable or not enjoyable almost at all from the get-go. I think that the majority of wines, even the big top Israeli like Castel Grandin or Yatir Forest or the big Cabernet Sauvignon from Napa Valley, where it's like the Herzog Generation 9, Stag's Leap, or the Marciano Estate, all of those wines, I think that they're still approachable on release when they are young. They're going to be big, bold. They're going to be tannic, but they're going to be enjoyable. They're going to be flavorful. They're going to there's a lot to enjoy about them, even at that stage. It may not be everyone's preferred stage. It's not my preferred stage, but I do acknowledge and recognize that it is enjoyable and it is understandable that a lot of people actually, prefer that or don't even care about aging their wine, because yes, most wines are still enjoyable, right away upon release, and that is, by the way, the aim of most wineries is to release their wines when they believe that they are ready enough to be enjoyed. Again, knowing that 95+% of people will drink those wines within hours, days, maybe weeks from purchase.
Maybe this is controversial, but do you think that there's some kosher wineries that probably can't afford to sit on the wines and they're
Of
releasing
course.
them too soon?
The majority of them also.
Everyone.
Cannot afford. Yeah, the majority.
So it does.
If you want to ask that, then why? Of course, because Chateau Pontet, you ask them, they'll be like, the wine's ready now. But like, you and I aren't going to drink that now, and it's almost a crime if you want to use that term. But they're selling wine. They're a business, right?
Right.
What are they going to sit on it for 10 years and then release it? Of course not. They're going to sell it.
Yeah. There's also an understanding. You mentioned Chateau Pontet. I don't think that they would say it's ready to drink. That's what those wineries like, let's say Léoville Parfait or Chateau Lascombe, they say that their second wine, the Chevalier de Lascombe,
Right.
Pavillon de Léoville Parfait, are wines that are meant to be enjoyed, young on release. I think that, they say that mainly because, they have to sell, and they have to tell people that, they can, and yes, people can enjoy those wines young, but I still believe that those wines, even the second wines, benefit tremendously from aging. And I, at least personally, prefer to age the second wines as well.
I'll give you a great Israeli example is Castel, because I've had great success aging the Petit Castel, so maybe even better than the Grand Van. I don't know. I specifically that 24.
You're not the first one to say this. I know a bunch of people who hold by the opinion that the Petit Castel is better than the Grand Van. I mean,
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, no. Some people do, and it's a personal preference, and I actually understand it because the Petit Castel is like softer by design, and people would go for that softness, so to speak. And that approachability, absolutely.
On the topic, and maybe I'm crazy, and maybe it was environmental because I was sitting with Eli Ben Zakin himself. I have found that the La Vie, what's it called, the La Vie, the entry one,
La Vie Rouge and La Vie Blanc.
I feel like they've come a long way. I thought they were not good at the beginning, and when they were first released, I feel like they're eminently drinkable now. I was really surprised by that. Have you found that?
Yeah, I would say so. Well, specifically the La Vie Blanc, by the way, has evolved a lot. It used to be a blend that had some Sauvignon Blanc, Straminer, I think maybe also Viognier, I'm not sure. And now, at least for the past 2 or 3 vintages, it's a straight Sauvignon Blanc, and a very nice one at that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I haven't had it in years, so I'm curious now.
Yeah,
I hadn't either.
Really, if you didn't care for those tropical, lychee rolls,
that's what I was thinking about when you were talking. Yeah,
it's it's a thing. There's a bunch of blends, especially from Yisroel, that have Gewürztraminer in it, and that's something that's looking like 5, 10, 15% of the blend. And Gewürztraminer is such a dominant, variety from an aromatic, perspective. It's such an aromatic variety that it totally takes over the wine.
Yeah.
It almost tastes like the wine is 100% Gewürztraminer. because those aromatics are so powerful that it's like a way to make the cheap Gewurztraminer. Just take 15% Gewurz, and then anything else you want, and you're gonna have Gewurztraminer with only 15% of it.
I thought it should be, you know how they have these like hotel scents that you could plug in or whatever. They have those things that would be a perfect one. I would love
exactly.
So I did have
Right.
I did have Yaakov Oria's new Queen of Hearts, and I thought that the Gewurztraminer there did not take over the wine. That's maybe one of the few.
The Vitkin White Journey usually has Gewurz in it, and also the Gewurz does not dominate in Vitkin. So there are exceptions. Thank God.
I want to ask the rabbi this: the Shemitah wine at the Seder thing, is that a thing? I kind of like that idea, but is that a?
I don't know if it is a thing. It became a thing for me. I'll tell you why. Because there's so many halachot around having a Shemitah wine. First of all, there are a lot of people who won't even touch it. And I understand. And so I think that it's a way of us honoring the Kedusha and the holiness of Shemitah. And so there's so many laws around it. And I think that if you're going to actually open up one of them and you're going to follow the instructions, do it at a Seder. Do it like really when it's the holiest time of the year to drink wine.
I like that idea. I have a 2008, I hope it's still good, but I have a Yarden Blanc de Blanc.
Oh.
2008. And I have a 22 Agur Layam that I've actually been sitting on for a little bit. And then, but all right, I'll think about it. I don't know. Now
there's just a couple.
I think I did once the Grand Vin Castel 2008. I did the Belt Masada 2008.
Yeah.
My Shulchan Aruch wine.
Just make sure that you just follow that. If it's not good, you have to drink the whole thing. Also, it's an opportunity. If you have a lot of people there, you just like I always say to them, look, I don't know what's going to happen when I open this, but we're all committing, right? You're all committing to this. That we're gonna, even if it's vinegar, we are finishing this, and then
exactly. Yeah, well,
but it's
okay. Let's not get into it because we could also discuss that because there is the opinions that it's turning into vinegar when it's lost it's kedusha, and you don't have that issue anymore. Let's not dive in because that's gonna. That's going to spiral in ways that I'm not sure we want, and I'm not sure if people who may be listening to us. I'm sure there's a lot by now. You guys are very popular. I'm not sure that everyone. I'm sure a lot of them would love it, but I'm sure that there will not be a consensus. That's for sure.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, I'm happy that you brought that up. Oh, this is good. We're getting differences of opinion here.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, I'll tell you what I do. I drink the whole thing to the very last drop. I even will during Shulchan Aruch, I will put water in the bottle, and if there's a couple drops left, I will pour it out into my glass to make sure that every drop is finished of that bottle, and at least I did my part of that kedusha of that holy bottle.
Great, fantastic.
Well, it's a good idea. I certainly, I'm just looking through my Israeli wines. I have so many ideas now, but I kind of like that Shemitah idea. Gabe, have you tasted the Raz, the Kavod Raz 2017 recently?
No, I have not.
Have you ever tasted that?
I believe I did, but a while ago.
I believe the guy with the memory of everyone he's ever had doesn't remember. And I don't think I've ever heard.
Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm getting old.
I was just looking at that. I was like, maybe that's in a good place right now. Yeah.
If I actually had the wine at home, I will always remember. If I had that on tasting,
right.
Exactly. And there's like a lot of people then
I would speaking
to, and it's a quick taste. And sometimes I may forget.
I would love to bring that back to Israel with me and drink it next year, 10-year anniversary. The great Simon Jacob gifted that to me, that bottle. I brought it home. It's a very nice gift.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a special bottle for me on multiple fronts. I'm
curious.
You guys wanted to talk about new stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, I did. And I actually have to wrap up very soon. I have...
okay, yeah. So some of the exciting stuff, again, it's a matter of perspective.
Yeah.
So we spoke about lovely before. Now we have those pet nuts, from
Yeah, these
from
putt nuts are so popular.
yeah, fun stuff, funky. The
Yeah.
rosé from Sedarim Winery. So that's a type of makes it more of a niche kind of thing. Maybe you're the big lovely guy.
I can't hear you well. I don't know why. Maybe it's just my.
Do you like those pet nuts, Kenny?
Is it that
That's
that's
the I got pet nut rosé.
yes. Do I like all of them? I am, I really at heart, I think I'm really a beer drinker. And I love beer. I just can't, it's always too much for me. It's too heavy, but I still love a beer every now and then. It's the only other thing I drink besides wine is beer. Very rarely, in fact, but I have good friends who are very into beer. When I'm over there, they always have very interesting ones. So I'm for sure going to
Yeah.
taste that. And the more interesting, I'm not drinking, I'm from Baltimore. So the beer here, you probably, neither of you know this, is
Yeah.
Natty Boh. It's like a national bohemian, famous Baltimore beer. That's not even made in Baltimore anymore, but everyone, like, you go to an Orioles game, by the way, it's opening day, let's go O's. But if you go to an Orioles game, that's like the beer of choice. And it makes no sense to me. It's from Milwaukee, but it used to be traditionally a Baltimore beer. And Baltimore is a very big beer town. There's still lots of breweries here,
Yeah.
lots of cool breweries.
There's a lot of beer in
Um,
Wisconsin.
Yes.
Every time I'm in Baltimore and I have an event with Kenny, which unfortunately doesn't happen as often as it used to. I always I drive from downtown to Pikesville basically, or from
Right.
Pikesville back to downtown where I usually stay, and right off the
You
highway.
pass Union.
there-
I know.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, that's
And every time, like,
by the way.
I should stop there one day.
That's owned by two very traditional Jews, that place.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that place. But there's ton. We should really do that one time.
Yeah, we should.
But to get back to that, I love first of all, I love that beer. There's so many, and let's not get into the new OU CRC whatever thing about beer. That aside, there's so many cool beers. There's so many directions they can take, and I love sours also. And I find that pet nut is the closest. It's almost like a
Yeah.
cousin. And I love that about it. I love the funkier and weirder, the better. I think probably some that are maybe off-putting to people are the ones I like most.
Yep.
I like that, like, primitive wine idea anyway. Like, everything's floating in there still. Like, I want to drink that. I could drink that all the time.
Do you think there's a halachic issue of listening to this podcast on Pesach since we're speaking about beer?
You're the rabbi. We have you for these answers.
Exactly. And you're the hechsher.
Exactly.
I always, when people ask in my house who's Hashpach, I always say his name anyway. He doesn't know that, and he's getting no royalties from it.
Oh, look at that.
But that was special last year that we got together for that podcast. We have to figure out a way to do that this year.
Yeah, we have to do a home white. It's because it's always we have to start our new season. This is our last. This must be our last one for the.
I am. That's right. Well, I'm going to be, and I will say this out loud, I'll be in Baltimore this year. So people in the Yerushalayim of America, as they used to call it, I will be there. What do you got? You're going to be home? You're home. You're leaving. I thought you were.
I'm waving to
something. So where are you going to be? You not want to say, Rabbi?
I'm going to be in Montreal. I am going to be with my community. I'm home this year as well. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. My wife not as much, but I am.
Yeah, we're doing a huge Seder, and
you
I'm
running?
really excited. Yeah, I'm running a big Seder for the whole community. A lot of people come. We'll have a lot of nice wine there, and it's the first time in quite a few years that I'm going to be back here for Pesach. So
I'm looking forward to it, and Mirz Hashem, my kids are all going to be home, which is the first time in a while, and it should be great. The wine will be
here. All my kids are coming home for Pesach.
I'm happy your son was able to make it.
You know, I thought of I don't do this kind of stuff. I do use Instagram and whatever, but I thought of a reel that I would do where, people do these like funny types of things, and I'll be sitting with my wife, and she's like, at a Seder table, and I'm really bad at telling these things over. I should have probably thought this through in my head, but I would say, she would like look at me and say like, really, another glass of wine? I'm like, what are you talking about? It's only my fourth cup. She's like, we haven't started the Seder yet. Something along those lines.
Oh, that's cute.
Well, Gabe didn't laugh.
Oh, I was thinking of maybe like
We'll edit that out in post production. What were you say? You're thinking what?
No, because this is also it's a big deal. All of our kids are coming home for Pesach,
Yeah.
and this is our first time. Like we're those people now. I can't believe it. Like we're the people who the kids are coming home for Pesach, and
Yeah. Well, Baruch Hashem. That's all
yeah,
I can say. Thank you, Hashem.
yes,
I gotta run, boys. Even
okay.
though there's a million other things to talk about.
We have a lot more to talk about.
Yeah, I had a hard timeline here because I actually have someone sitting in my waiting room right now. So,
Okay, well that's a very good reason.
who's probably wondering what I'm talking about or why I'm talking about here. But Chag Kosher V'Sameach to both of you, two of my best friends in the industry and outside the industry. I love you
Really
both.
an honor
It's an
to
honor.
be here.
Likewise, Kenny. You're the man.
Thanks so much, guys.
Chag Kosher V'Sameach.
Take care. Chag Kosher V'Sameach.